What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update, and we've got a few things to get through today, and starting off with Ben Davies, as he has signed a one-year extension. As the club statement reads, we are delighted to announce that Ben Davies has signed a new contract with the club which will run until 2025. And you got to say, this deal is thoroughly deserved. Since Conte's come in, you'd probably say he's been the most improved player, right?
And definitely most consistent player as well. I think he's done a brilliant job. I think he's found a home now in that left centre back role. I don't think he's got a future anymore at left back. Even if he was to leave the club in the future, I don't think he'll be leaving it as left back. But I have to say, his improvement deserves the contract extension. He's one of Conte's most trusted players now. I think he's made that role his own. I think he's improving as well with each game, and I'm very happy for him because he's a player who gets derided a lot. He's a player who was always used an example of the stagnation at Spurs, and for a time that was justified because I don't think he was putting in the performances that we needed, especially from a modern day fullback. But I think Conte has realised, and I think he's realised, he's not a fullback anymore. That's just not his role. And I think he's been a very consistent, very stable performer now. And yeah, I'm really happy with him. So I think he more than deserves the contract extension, and it's going to bring up 10 years at Tottenham, which is unbelievable when you think about who the players he's lasted when he came in. He came in 2014. He's outlasted the likes of Alderweireld and Vertonghen and Danny Rose and all these players.
Dele Alli, loads of players.
Who would have thought? So a couple more good seasons, does he get described as a Tottenham legend or not?
I mean, the word legend.
Where does legend status come with Ben Davies?
The word legend is bandied about way too often, but if he's here for the next 3 years and Conte stays for the next 3 years and we actually win something big, and we do like go and challenge for a title, and let's say we do win a title and Ben Davies is a central part of that, then you've got to say then he does deserve legend status. Anyone in that squad would deserve legend status.
So we need a trophy.
A big trophy.
But Kane doesn't need a trophy.
No, Kane's going to end up our highest goal scorer of all time.
True. But look, 10 years though. Do you reckon he'll get a testimonial as they still do those?
I don't know if they do. They last did one for Ledley King.
Was that the last one they did? Well, Rose was here for over 10 years and he didn't.
Rose was over 10 years. I mean, was Lennon over 10 years as well?
I think he just missed out on it. I think it was like 9.5 years or something. I think it was like 6 months away from 10.
I'd like to see him get a testimonial maybe against Swansea or something, you know.
Yeah.
But look, I think like back in the day when they used to do testimonials, because footballers didn't earn anywhere near as much as they earn now, it was more of like a retirement package. Let them have some money after their their season ends or their career ends. But now players are paid so handsomely, it's mainly for charity, isn't it, these testimonials? So hopefully, I'd like to see him get a testimonial. Anyone that's here for 10 years, I think it would be nice to give a proper send-off.
Do you reckon with another good season, you might see rival fans start giving him respect? Because still, at the moment, he's seen as whole average Ben Davies. He's, no one's worried about him when he's in a Tottenham shirt from rival fans. But, last season, especially the last 6 months, I thought he was one of our best defenders. So do you reckon, this season he could start getting some recognition, or do you reckon he's always just going to be labelled that average player?
I think that there's a stigma around Ben Davies.
Yeah.
There is. And look, I think within the club, we're looking at him very differently as we looked at him maybe this time last year. I think other rival clubs maybe are starting to realise that he has had a strong season, but no one outside of the club will put him on maybe the pedestal that we're putting him right now. But one more strong season, you never know. If we challenge for the title this season or something like that, or go deep into the Champions League, and he's, plays a consistent role in that, I don't see why not.
Yeah, I think he should be. So, look, I'm just happy with how he performs, and I think this role of the left centre back, which he plays for club and country now, I think he's really good at it, and he's always been really good at it. So now he's playing there consistently. Then it just goes to show how much of a difference things like that can make to a player's performance. And maybe it's also a lesson not to write players off too early as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Wales knew about this left centre back role a lot longer before we did. He's been playing there for a long time and always performed well there. It's just that we haven't been playing a back three. I think if we did move to a back three earlier on, he would have played there early on, and we would have seen him thrive maybe a bit earlier on in his Spurs career. But since Conte has come in, like I said, the most improved player in this squad. And we're loving Ben Davies at the moment. So keep going, Ben. Keep doing what you're doing. Want to see another season of those levels as you got to last season. Let's move on. Let's talk about Troy Parrott now. Ali Gold said yesterday that, around the Rangers friendly, he said that Troy Parrott was not taken with the squad to Glasgow because he is set to seal a season-long loan move and a new contract with Tottenham. Dan Kilpatrick brought us this morning that Preston have won the race to sign Troy Parrott on loan. He's set to finalise a season-long loan move today, which is expected to be announced alongside his contract extension. And Ali Gold also gave us the update today that Troy Parrott will undergo a medical at Preston North End today ahead of his loan move. Obviously, Preston in the Championship next year. We did hear a few days ago that we want to send him on loan somewhere where he can play that number 9 role. So that must mean that's what he's going to be doing at Preston. So I'm very excited to see what he can bring to the Championship next season.
Yeah, I do wonder what their ambitions are for next season if they're looking for playoffs or whatnot. I think they finished around mid-table last season in the Championship. I don't think they got anywhere near the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see with how he acclimatizes. I don't know what kind of football they play. I don't know if it's attacking style or not. I don't know too much about Preston, but I know that I was looking at their squad. They got players like Robbie Brady in the team, and players like that. Hopefully, he can get a decent supply that he can make. That he can show off his finishing ability, which I think we're still yet to see in proper competitive matches, proper finishing ability that we are able to see whenever we see training clips and things like that. I think he always shows a very good ability for finishing, but when he was playing at Ipswich and MK Dons and stuff, he was never really playing up front. He was always usually in behind or out wide, so we haven't seen it on full display, albeit when he does get in those positions, he does show he's still able to finish pretty decently when the goals he has scored. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in the Championship next season. Look, it's now 2 years since he was there, because he was there last season. He was at MK Dons the whole season, right? Or was it 6 months?
Was it? I think it was 6 months. Did he go there in January? I can't remember.
No,
off the top
it
of
was
my
the
head.
whole season, because the season before that he was at Ipswich and he was at Millwall.
Was that? I can't remember.
That was 2 seasons ago.
Let's have a quick
I
look.
think if I'm right.
Let's have a quick look.
I think he was at MK Dons the whole last season, right?
Yeah, you're right. He played 41 games there last season.
Yeah, so it's now been 2 years since he's been in the Championship. Hopefully he's grown up a lot. Well, 18 months. But hopefully he's grown up a lot and now he's ready for that level, which he wasn't when he first went there. And
he only played 11 games that year in the Championship as well.
Yeah. I mean, 11 games is enough to see if you're ready right now.
But he was in like a struggling Millwall side as well that
Yeah.
weren't playing like to his strengths.
Yeah, it's true. But there weren't exactly queues of Championship sides looking to sign him up once he struggled there. But now there are. So let's see if he's ready for it. And I'm definitely going to be keeping a keen eye on that. And for sure, we'll give you regular update to how he does.
Absolutely, and I, for one, are definitely looking forward to that. Let's move on. Let's talk about Japhet Tanganga now, as the Mail are claiming that Tottenham and AC Milan are close to agreeing a deal for Tanganga. Spurs are currently negotiating a buyback clause within the contract. So what do you make out of that with Japhet Tanganga? I mean, you heard the other day that potentially we're looking for an obligation and an option to buy. But apparently we are also looking to put a buyback clause in there as well.
So maybe it's a case of we want an obligation to buy and we have a buyback clause. So it's best of both worlds in a way for Spurs. I wonder what kind of fee. Apparently we're looking for 17 million for the obligation. I don't know if they're going to be prepared to pay that. From what I gather, they want him as 4th choice centre back.
Oh, really?
From what I read from some fans and journalists and stuff like that, so, which is quite odd. Which why that makes me think less it makes me think what it's a bit more pointless unless we're getting a permanent transfer. This deal is a bit pointless to go on loan to be 4th choice.
Does he want to go there and be 4th choice?
But maybe he does. Maybe he wants a new experience. I don't know. Maybe he thinks there's more of a pathway to the first team at Milan than it is at Spurs. I don't know where his head's at, but it's a bit of an odd one that he would, especially if it's a loan deal. Why would he go out on loan if it's an option to buy? I understand more maybe if it's permanent, I guess. I don't know. It's a bit of a difficult one, but a buyback clause would definitely benefit us in case he does really do well there, and then we need another option. And then he's a homegrown player. He could always be in the back pocket, like and he's a Spurs boy as well. So, for sure, I would want that option to be put in there if it's agreed to, because if that possibility is always on the table, I wouldn't want to close the door on Jaffet just yet. But right now, it makes sense if he does leave.
Completely agree. I mean, if we do get rid of him permanently, I'd be sad to see him go, as you're sad to see anyone coming through the academy go. But, you know, there are these question marks about his injury record, and apparently he's got some dodgy knees or something like that. But I'd prefer just to let him go out on loan. But if he is going to go out on loan, you're right, he needs to get consistent football. Otherwise, there's literally no point. You may as well just sell him. So that is the situation on Japhet Tanganga. Next up, Ollie Skipp. Obviously, Skippy missed the last friendly against Rangers through injury, and Ali Gold has given us a little bit of an update on that. And he says that Oliver Skipp's injury is foot-related, and he remains a doubt for the Roma friendly. Are you starting to get worried about all these Skippy injuries?
I mean, the fact that he missed 6 months is always not great, but I mean, this one seems like a little. I mean, he might be. It might be a bit worrying.
But not only did he miss 6 months, but he got injured at the back end of the Norwich season. I know he didn't miss many games because it was the end of the season, but he was still out for a good month or two.
Yeah, that was like a broken toe or something. Or
it was
broken
a metatarsal, I think.
Metatarsal. I mean, it is worrying, but he's still very young. He's still very early on in his Spurs career. I mean, you could say the similar thing happened to Winks when he was playing quite well and then got a few injuries, and those are things that he had to put part with the rest of his career. From it. Yeah, but it doesn't mean Skipp's the same. It's a very different injury with Harry Winks. Harry Winks it wasn't a case of Winks recovering from an injury. Winks sustained an injury which he was always going to have to manage for the rest of his career. That's what Pochettino said. We don't know if Skipp's in that situation. Look, he's got a niggling injury. It happens to football. Every footballer gets niggling injuries, and I know he's had 2 big injuries recently, but this one, I mean, unless I'm hearing there's something to worry about, I'm not going to start worrying just yet. But of course, the amount of injuries he's had recently doesn't paint a great picture. When we're Tottenham, I think we have PTSD with injury-prone players as well. Like any time any player gets a few injuries in a row, we're like, oh, is there going to be another Lamella? I think we all have PTSD from Lamella, the whole Lamella incident.
Ledley King as well.
And Ledley King, exactly. I think Spurs fans are just like we've had enough injury-prone players. So whenever anyone picks injuries up, we're like, oh God. But I don't know. He's
so
still young.
many injury-prone players over the years. So many.
I think that plays on our mind now. But that plays on our mind. Yeah, Spurs fans, and I think we judge players like any time they get a few injuries, like, oh, he's injury-prone. Oh, we need another player to replace him. For me, I'm not too worried about it just yet. But maybe in a few months, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, look, I think it is slightly worrying, but I don't want to, put the worry mode into overdrive just yet. But hopefully he'll be back for the start of the season. I think that's what Ali Gold is insinuating anyway. I think he was talking on, maybe his update on YouTube, or maybe he was talking on Twitter as well. But he says that it is nothing to worry about at this stage. So let's keep it there. Last but not least, we've got some quotes from Alessandro Bastoni, and he says, "I've never had any doubt. I've always wanted to stay at Inter Milan. I've got a great relationship with my teammates, the club. I love Milano, and I have no reason to leave." Then he also went on to say in the same interview, "I really hope Skriniar will stay as well because we need him."
Yeah, Skriniar hasn't left yet, has he?
No, he hasn't. They can't seem to agree a deal with PSG. But in terms of Alessandro Bastoni, it doesn't seem like he wants to go anywhere anytime soon, does it?
Yeah, we knew that, though. We knew he was happy there. It wasn't a case of him coming to Tottenham because he was desperate to leave. It was more a case of him coming to Spurs because Inter were desperate to sell. Maybe there could be something there. It's a bit of an interesting one. Maybe this summer there's a bit of a... with the whole Frankie de Jong situation, you see how Barca are desperate to sell him, but he wants to stay, so the player power was winning there. And I think with the Bastoni thing, I wouldn't say it's the same, because I don't think Inter is as desperate to sell Bastoni as Barca or Frankie de Jong, but I do think it is a case that Inter might be more open to selling him, considering Skriniar's not leaving and stuff. But at the moment, the player has the final say, and he's right now very happy at Inter. He's you know, they're challenging for big things as well. So in terms of sporting ambition, it's there for him. He's very young, so there's no real reason for him to be looking elsewhere but where he is right now. So it doesn't surprise me whatsoever. The only thing I could change is Inter Milan softening their stance and maybe trying to nudge him along. That's the only thing. But if they don't do that, I just don't see any chance this deal will happen this summer.
It's all very strange with Inter Milan because we heard about all these financial issues. They started buying players. They haven't really sold anyone yet of substantial note.
Maybe they got some financial levers.
Yeah,
to
they
pull.
also sold their future as well.
I don't know. I mean, we would have heard about it, I reckon, if they had, like we have with Barca. But I don't know what's going on with them. Maybe they are still need to sell, and they just haven't got they're just playing a bit of a bargaining game. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the whole situation is. We have heard throughout the summer that they have to sell at least one big player. Still hasn't happened yet. There's even rumours that Skriniar is going to be offered a new contract, and if that happens, where does that leave any like the other players? I really don't know. Maybe their financial troubles have been overblown, or maybe there is one sell incoming, and maybe we can benefit from it. But it's still very much up in the air. We don't really know the ins and outs at the moment.
And just actually an update on the Tanganga situation. Daniel Longo of Calcio Mercato has literally just tweeted, and he says Tanganga waits for Milan. The English defender is in no hurry, but he does want to wear the AC Milan shirt next season. So that's the kind of slight update on Japhet Tanganga. Apparently he does want to move to AC Milan.
Maybe he just sees his opportunities better over there, and that's all I can think. Maybe he thinks he'll be more developed over AC Milan than at Spurs.
He probably looks at Fikayo Tomori, who wasn't getting a look in at Chelsea really, and he's gone there, won the league, starting centre back every week, young English defender, got England call-ups off the back of it as well. So I think he looks at that and thinks, you know, I can do the same thing.
And also at Milan, I think they play a back four, don't they? So he has two options he can kind of play. He can either play centre back or he can play full back. At Tottenham, there's kind of only one, with the formation we play, there's only one position he can really play, and that's right centre back. And if he's not getting in there, don't see him getting in anywhere else. So maybe that's why it's also a bit more opportunity.
And quick update, non-Spurs related, is that Koundé getting closer to Barcelona, apparently, Romano says.
Of course they are.
And,
there's something else about Barca team that
also not Spurs related, but West Ham. What do you reckon about these Scamacca and Kostic deals? Great deals for them, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that is good deals for them. For me, the Kostic deal, I would say it's a good deal if they're looking at moving to a back three next season. If they're not, I still think it's a decent deal, but I don't think it becomes as good if he's not playing left wing back, because I don't think he's that great at left back, and I think he's an okay winger, but I don't think he's anything exceptional as a winger, but I do think he's an exceptional wing back. When it comes to Scamacca, obviously he's had a great season in Serie A, adds competition and maybe potentially even upgrade on Antonio up front. But that's one thing they've been looking to resolve for many, many years, giving competition for Antonio, which they haven't been able to. So that definitely would boost their numbers. But I still look at their squad and think I can't see them challenging anywhere near top four next season.
All right. Well, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding any of the news stories we've brought to you today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.